All right. Okay. Welcome everybody to our social impact and entrepreneurship breakout session. I'm one of your co-facilitators today, Trayvon Smith, but you can just call me Trey. We also got Kim. We got Jamie in the chat too as well. If you, oh, okay, paid internships. Anybody have anything? Anybody want to sound off? Please sound out in the chat below. Can we go to the next slide, please? Okay, social entrepreneurship tips areas covered. What are your solutions or business ideas? Okay, so basically, some social entrepreneurship tips that we want to cover today is going to be what is your solution or business idea? How do you execute your idea and what steps do you want to take to do so? Types of business, tools for preparing your goals and ideas, and also resources for getting started. Next slide. So to give you a definition of social entrepreneurship is the process by which individuals, startups, and entrepreneurs develop and fund solutions that directly address social issues. Next slide. And so today we want you to start thinking about what's business idea or solutions that you might have. Often, social impact and social impact businesses start with the challenge in mind, identifying a challenge that can allow entrepreneurs to think about what solutions or products are needed to be created to address a problem or a challenge that you're having in your communities or neighborhoods. It also helps build a case around why your product or service is needed and unique, and to define your mission. And I'm gonna pass this off to Jamie.
Hi, guys. Okay, you can go to the next slide. So this is just information giving you, I'm sorry, guys, information about other social impacts and models that businesses use. You can go to the next one. And this is more information. So 3 statistics that entrepreneurship uses or entrepreneurs should know. So why entrepreneurs decide to start a business, and how the US isn't the easiest place to start your own business, and ways that entrepreneurs could find finances for their endeavors. And these are the type of businesses that you should think about when you're in the process of beginning or starting your own business. So sole proprietorships, partnerships, corporations, S corporations, LLC, limited liability companies, nonprofit, and 501c3 nonprofit companies. And this is things that you can think about when you're starting your business, or if you're like in the ideal phase or launch phase, or even scaling your business. So what are your goals, and are they SMART goals? So is it specific, measurable, actionable, realistic, and time bound? And this is a resource that I used when I started my own business, which is basically just a book, Atomic Habits. And to summarize it and narrow it down, it was just breaking down habits into 1% a day instead of doing it 100% a day. Then you're cramming and overwhelming and overworking. You can also do YouTube. So you will research other entrepreneurs who may have a similar product or idea. And then there's a link article, social entrepreneurs, resources that they may use and how to have a great mindset around it. And this is our contact information.
So now we're going to get a little bit into some questions to kind of get the brain going. Understanding your why is what we will call it. So basically, whenever you're starting an entrepreneurship journey, you basically got to ask yourself, why are you doing this? What's going to keep you going? And some questions that we want to ask today, or at least get you thinking, is what are you passionate about? What keeps you up at night? What are you willing to do out of passion? And how does your lifestyle align with your business? These are all questions that we kind of ask ourselves in the process, and continue to ask ourselves, even in the process of set doubt, to be honest with you. So yeah. So does anybody in the chat or anybody want to answer one of the questions above?
Trey and Jamie, we jumped right into the session, and you all didn't get to properly introduce yourselves. That was something I was supposed to frame up, so I apologize. Maybe we could start off with understanding both of your whys and the businesses that you have all started off, and that'll give the group some time to think about some things they feel comfortable sharing.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and start. My name is Jamie KP, and I created the Alternative Bureau to provide and prioritize Blacks the tools needed to begin repairing their credit report, while also giving them the opportunity to have an alternative credit portfolio within our bureau. So stepping back, my personal experience gave me the passion to start my business. So like originally I'm from Dayton, Ohio. Currently I'm located in Columbus, Ohio. I moved here about 5, 6 years ago, and I literally had nothing but a car that broke down just about every day, a trash bag full of clothes, and I did not have nowhere to stay, and my credit score was extremely poor. So of course I ended up, getting denied for a lot of things. Finally, I got a car, but the car payment was extremely high. Got a little apartment, and ironically, I landed a job with a finance firm. And of course, you go through trainings, they give you tons of procedures that you have to follow, processes. So I would, take those procedures and started applying them, to my own life, and started understanding the language of credit and things like that. But like going back to the journey, there's always this feeling that I get like at that moment where I was like so irritated, so frustrated. And I used to say to myself, like, bro, I cannot be the only one who's going through this. So for 2 years, I set on the idea of starting this business where I would help other Blacks with limited resources or who needed alternative opportunities with repairing their credit. Finally, I participated in the program down here that's located in Columbus, Ohio. It's called the U. Ended up participating in a pitch competition, won first place, and I got like $5,000 for it. And from there, I started working on my launch, and now I'm here. So that's how that ended up starting. That's my story. That's why I'm passionate. Like I want Blacks to have, if we're going to continue to be, blocked out of credit opportunities or housing opportunities or better jobs and finances, then maybe we can create alternative opportunities outside of what's already been built.
So again, my name is Trey Smith. I founded a photography social enterprise called Realest Exposure. And basically it stemmed from a place of noticing a lot of not only myself, but a lot of my Black and brown peers being shut out of mainstream spaces for a lot of different reasons. A lot of people love to pin certain people out to be either a quote unquote unprofessional because of reasons that they cannot control. And also too, I'm a very huge fan of the arts. I really love fine art, taking pictures and a lot of different things. And I wanted to blend the two together to not only connect people with more resources, more support with their artist ventures and small businesses, but also offer a service that anybody can book. And I didn't automatically make this decision just out of nowhere. I was working on my bachelor's degree in psychology. I'm working a few jobs, and the pandemic hit, and like a lot of people, it kind of shifted your perspective on what did you want to do with your life. And I figured that I wanted to pursue my passion versus pursuing being a marriage and family therapist. In a way, I feel like I still am kind of a marriage and family therapist through the healing power of art. So that's my story and that's my why.
Anissa or Ashley wanted to chime in to what your passions are or anything. If not, we can move on.
Hi, hello. I'm sorry if it's a little loud where I am. I was looking for like a quiet place to talk. But actually, I live in Queens, New York. I'm 18 years old. I've worked with my judicial internship, and I've got to work with a judge. Her name was Pamela Chen, and she was really heavily involved with social impacting in low-income communities. Because at first I wanted to be a criminal lawyer, but then I understood like in the law, it's like a very broad field. So I was thinking now that I could like branch out and work as an attorney and focus on how I can impact my community more thoroughly. But as of right now, like with COVID and everything, like it's changed a lot of my perspectives on certain, like, I don't know, like different issues within my area. So me and my friend were like trying to form a website, and we were calling it Silence is Compliance. So we were going to start that back up again. And we've been looking for like more internships, more opportunities, like more people to talk to, just like to get different perspectives on different issues. So also when I decided to do SYEP, I thought it was a good idea that they chose me to view this seminar or group session. So I just really taking in a lot of what people have been saying and just putting it in different perspective so it could help me move forward.
I also would like to add, I think what keeps me up at night, multiple issues keep me up at night, especially since I work with a lot of young people, but I identify as first generation Mexican American. And I'm also a first generation college student. And I think, I guess, what's always kept me up at night is realizing how I don't like the mentality of picking yourself up by the bootstraps, but that's basically what I had to do to survive and to graduate and to get a job. And so this is not really like a solid plan, but something I've always thought about is, I know there are multiple mentorship programs, but basically what got me through college was seeing other people like me in the industries that I want to be in, or even in higher ed or academia, having people that were willing to just, pick me up and push me forward and give me all these opportunities. And if it wasn't for them, I really wouldn't. And they were also just like me, also women of color. So if it wasn't for them, I really wouldn't be where I am today. Um, so I think I don't know about making a business out of it, but definitely seeing how I can move forward since I'm only 23 as well. So these are big plans for a near future, but definitely seeing how I can combine my love for my culture, my love for my people, and making sure that they also have access to these resources and community support as well. Because honestly, like, especially for my generation, I know higher education is something that looks attainable, but there are so many things, so many barriers to accessing it. So it's just food for thought, but it's definitely something that keeps me up at night.
Okay, I like that. So it sounds like representation is important to you.
So basically, we're discussing our whys of what we decided to start our business, and there's the 5 questions on the screen. Did you want to introduce yourself? If not, it's totally fine. We respect boundaries.
No problem. Derek Stroman, the founder of What Now Works, basically working with companies to help them create like a entry-level talent program. Also, I do direct hire placement. So excited to be in this room. So I'll just take a look at these questions now.
Well, welcome. So yeah, this a lot of the times when you start a business, you have to look at these questions, or at least think about a lot of things, and it'll take you on a whole journey.
I think this is probably going to be on the next slide, but while we're waiting, because Derek can chime in too after he's done looking at those questions. It might be a little bit too late for this part, but this can be like an additional extra icebreaker. I wanted to ask everybody, you don't have to say it out loud, but if you can put it in the chat box, if you can tell me what you think it takes to be an entrepreneur. It's not a right or wrong answer, just something that you think it takes to be an entrepreneur. I'll go with my first one. I'll say resiliency. Patience. Okay, I agree.
Mine will be perseverance.
I'll say another one for me. We already talked about it, but I think it takes passion to be an entrepreneur because it's hard, right? Confidence, always being confident in what you're doing. And it doesn't have to always be always, but of course, be confident in what your business is because it's your business, so you're the expert.
I agree with that. And I also think that sometimes we tell ourselves that that because we are so confident in our idea, we can't get nervous or get a little bit sidetracked. And it happens all the time. I feel like for me, I always end up nervous because I'm more of an introverted person that has to have an extroverted expression in these type of spaces. So it could be nerve-wracking to speak to other people, but with growth comes pain for me.
I also think it takes flexibility, right? So like when you're first starting off, of course, you're not going to start with $1 million. So you may have your own personal 9-to-5, or even in school, as someone mentioned. So are you flexible enough to be an entrepreneur? Can you get off, or can you leave classes and still work on your business? So I think flexibility is a good trait to consider when you're thinking about, or when you are an entrepreneur. Do anybody have any more?
Yeah, I was talking to my niece about this recently, and like the word itself, I think is such like a cliche buzzword that everybody thinks because they do something or they have like a thought that is going to work. But something that I was telling her is that it really comes down to the work that you actually put in. We can all say that, you know, we're good at this, we're good at that, or we see like if we do this and this could happen, we could solve like X, Y, Z problem. But if you don't put in the actual work and like the hours that it really puts in, you won't see any of that happen. And another thing I'll say that I told her is that be comfortable with like losing friends too, because if you're really serious like about this, it's going to come to a point where those nights out or those, you know, Sunday brunches, those Friday parties, like they're really going to stop. So those are my 2 pieces of advice for anybody who wants to take on this challenge.
Okay, Derek is dropping gems in session today. Thank you for that share out, because I 100% agree with that, because the losing friends things and everything, because everything's all good and dandy until you take something serious, and not everybody can take it as serious as you do. So that's passion.
But we're going to go back, since you guys can't see it. I'll just go back to what's your solution or your business idea. And I know y'all chimed in and said y'all part. But if someone could put in the chat, or you can even say it out loud, what your business idea is, or what problem you may be solving.
And if you don't have a business in mind, if you can have any fantasy business, what would it be and why, even if it's realistic or not?
I'll go ahead. I'll start to break the ice. So for my business, or like for an example, when I started, my problem was X amount of Blacks didn't know how to start repairing their credit, locking them out of opportunities. And my solution is to provide one-on-one sessions and alternative credit portfolios to get them alternative opportunities. So I had a problem, and then now I have a solution. So that's my example. I just want to hear some of y'all problems or solution.
And while we're thinking about that, I'm gonna share mine as well for full completion. My problem is basically that BIPOC, Black, Indigenous people of color, are shut out a lot of mainstream spaces and a lot of opportunities. It's the whole hierarchy, like from top to bottom, people are like shut out. And so my solution to that is to be able to offer resources, services, and also to be able to help promote and support young entrepreneurs on the way. By offering photography services and also offering resources when necessary. Let's get you guys some little time, or girls, a little time.
So basically the problem is a lot of companies don't know how to hire, or they claim that they have problems hiring. It's just that they don't have the right processes and like talent pools to really reach out to. So what I do is I go in there with me and my team, and we really work with those hiring managers, those like VPs, to help them create like their sourcing strategies, as well as a lot of the times, a lot of these companies don't have like an early careers program to where they are bringing in like those recent grads and all that. So we just come in, give them strategies that we've done in terms of like helping like those Fortune 400s, Fortune 300 companies, a lot of like nonprofits and startups too, and to really make sure that they have a talent acquisition strategy in place that leads to them bringing on, you know, top people to where it really goes back to like that bottom line. And then on top of that, also doing direct hire placement. So acting as, let's say, for instance, if they already have all of that, you know, kind of like just like figured out, they may need help filling up these, you know, very, very critical roles. So the network that I have, I would kind of use that to my advantage and help place or kind of fill on those roles that they have open.
Okay, I like that. Is it a specific field you do that in?
Is it what, sorry?
Is there a specific field you specialize in with that? Like, do you only do it warehouses or finance?
It's mostly tech. So from front end, back end, cybersecurity, to data science, SaaS, like anything within. Well, I feel like my go-to has like been SaaS, because that's where I've worked, you know, most in. But it's all falls within like the realm of tech.
Yeah, technology is taking over.
Most definitely.
I think I would just like form a website with like multiple resources on it for like people that like don't really know what they can do. Like some students don't know like programs or clubs or whatever it is that they could join to like make themselves more better or become more advanced. So that's something I would work to have.
Okay.
And like I would see how it would go from there.
So I guess let's leave the floor open for a little bit Q&A. We're gonna leave the floor open for you guys to ask us any questions that you might have, and we're very happy to answer. Like about entrepreneurship, about what we do, about anything. The floor is all yours if you choose to use it. This recording. Thank you for having us, okay? Thank you for having us. We did our best, have us again soon, hopefully.
I think you
Yeah.
did really good, Trey.